I was so happy. Look around, look around, to the sky, to the heavy shade of winter.
Yeah, my doggies. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:32. It is October 1st. It is the fourth quarter. Here we go. Here we go. I hope everyone had a great uh, first three quarters, or who knows? Every quarter is a little bit different. I know last quarter was a really good one for me. I finished at pretty much the highs of the quarter. Lots of good sequences, lots of nice rotation, lots of money moves. Some things were a little predatory here and there. And now here we are. We all started zero. If you're a real trader, you know what I'm talking about. You know, October is a new month. Fourth quarter is a new quarter. I will say that usually the fourth quarter is Red Dog's best quarter. So you're going to want to tune into the 6:30 club. You probably really want to be on the alpha team, and you want to make sure your mind is right. You want to make sure, you know, you're doing the 25-20 with me. A bunch of dogs came in this morning. We did our workout. We sweat a little bit. We thought about the day. And we're going to get moving today. You know, the government was shut down. Everybody knows that was going to happen. You know, they ramped up the market in the last 2 hours in the spies. So it's not like it's a big deal. They're just taking a little bit away from those pretty dresses that they made. And now we'll see if today really means anything. You know, I like it down open into a new quarter because you see where flows go. You see what goes from red to green first. And I know it's a little complicated, but my dogs don't care because we have multiple plans. We know what the keys to the day are, and we're going to keep moving our feet, and we're going to think clearly. For those of you who have subscribed to the Red Dog Mindset, thank you very much. You know, you're going to be grandfathered into the 6:30 club, and what you should do is start watching the 25-20. Make sure you tune into the whiteboard weekends, and here we go from here. So anyway, the spies are down 369. It's really not a big deal. If you look at this, you know, if you look at the ramp up into the close, you know, we're at 662.48. We're not even at the 2-day low. So for all the disaster guys out there, and for everyone that's going to be talking about it on every major news network about the government shutting down, how it's going to be Armageddon for the economy, that's bullshit. Excuse my French. Okay, if anything, the government spending a little less money isn't the worst thing. They spend enough of our money. But anyway, so we'll see. Does this area hold? If new flows come in and we hold right here, I would deem that pretty darn healthy. You know, I'll cover some hedges. I might even go out and buy some SPYs or Qs a week out just because I think that this is going to be a little short-lived. Usually the market gives it like a week and a half, 2 weeks before it really cares. Blair, good morning, Apple and Oxy. Okay, well, both are down a little bit. We can get to that. The audio isn't working. Really? Test radio test. Is the audio working on the 6:30 club? Anybody? Hey, take a listen, Conrad. Give me a little yes. If it's working, give me a little bit. It's not working great. It's faint. Yes. All right. So turn your computer up. Your audio is working. Anyway, well, I just want to see if everybody's alive. By the way, if you look here, I do talk to guys on Twitter and on YouTube. Everyone right here is usually giving me some ideas. We're looking at them together. We're going over the keys to the day. We're thinking about news. We're doing all these things as a community in the 6:30 club. Been doing this since 2020, making a lot of people a lot of money, keeping them safe, keeping them sound, because I've been doing this for 30 years. But anyway, with that being said, yeah, you know what? You know, I still have a lot of things going on, and I looked, and things are doing what they're supposed to do. If you remember last week with you guys, I'm like, hey, guys, I'm positioning an IBIT. I'm going mid-October, November 7th for what should be a run between now and Thanksgiving. So with the government shutting down, you know, Bitcoin's doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be a little anti-government, right? So the IBIT is up $1.12. So that's going to help. Ethereum is up $1 and change. So that's going to help. So when you connect the dots, you're like, all right, so if IBIT is up and Ethereum's up, you think to yourself, what else should be up? So you have the treasury stocks, that go along with it. So BMNR, if you're in that, that's up with Ethereum. Okay, so I did position to some options into weakness there. SBET, is I think it's going to wake up and do a little bit better. I bought some options for both of these, and I'm long Ethereum. So these three things are kind of like hedges against the government shutting down. So I'll be able to trim and manage some of those from last week, and then I'll be able to say, hey, maybe I'll be able to buy a little Tesla today to go red to green. It's only down 260, not a big deal. Futures are down 35 handles. This isn't down 10, it's down 260. And then I'm also go to some names that we talked about yesterday. Is it too late for BMNR? No, of course it's not. So anyway, so with that being said, crypto, I started going over last week with you guys as a focus. Every now and then it's a focus. Focus, Daniel-san. Anyway, I was buying some options into here. Nice gap up, nice hold. I think the next level for Bitcoin to clear is 117,000. But anyway, for those on power plays, who like to be told what to do, I told them to buy the 67s for October 17th and November 7th. The other day was up big. We made good money, and now we're going to massage that trade and see if that active sequence can continue. In my humble opinion, I think Bitcoin is going to be at least 135,000 by Thanksgiving. There's going to be a lot of money to be made. You should be with me. You should be getting your mind right with the Red Dog Mindset. Subscribe above and manage this trade with me. Yes, I also think BMNR is going to be okay. This is the treasury stock that has Peter Thiel, it has Tom Lee, and blah blah blah. I think yesterday I bought either the $65 calls or the $70 calls. This thing was 161. I also bought this SBET. It's more of a Colado play, but look at this thing. This thing has been absolutely, 124, 62, 40. Look at this little nice tight pattern. So this isn't my hyper focus, but I said, hey, I can go out to October 31st, buy the $20 calls for $1.10. So if this has a move to 25.30, I'm going to make some money. We're all going to go to Sizzler together. But anyway, I put that out there. So there's a lot going on here. Musk says cancel your Netflix subscription. Why is that? That's interesting. Yes, Ken says ASTS is nice. ASTS gave you a really nice spot to buy against. If you look here, I've been trading this and buying it and doing options and with everybody. This was the last huge awesome active sequence. Just pulled in. Remember, we were buying in here. That was awesome when I started buying some options. It was up $5-6 with the futures. It's only up 3. We'll see how much of today's strength holds. I don't know if you could buy it after the open. We'll see. Anyway, so Ken says, take a look. This is nice and tight. Big move, consolidation. Listen, all you want is stocks to play by the rules. The good book, I say. What's the good book? The good book is tight patterns that expand where you could buy verse levels, add through levels, trim some into strength, and continue to go with it. Yes. Yesterday, I should have paid for everybody's entire year. Yesterday, I was like, hey, guys, Nvidia is gonna be a hyper focus. I was buying the 187 halves for like $1.20. 2 days ago, we were talking about it. I put it on as a power play. Yes, I did. And, and then that's a really nice candle. So yesterday, Nvidia helped save my day. There's always 1 or 2 good trades that make up for some of the slippage or this and that. If you take a look here. So now what? I think you could buy Nvidia this morning. I'm going to buy more Nvidia. I own Nvidia. I have the shares. Let's go away from crypto land. Let's go to the Qs, which are down almost 4. Nvidia, it's only down $1.32. That's not a big deal. Tesla is down 3. Not a big deal. Microsoft, I feel like this group, it has a really good chance to go red to green today. Apple, we'll see also. It's only down $1. So right here, these 5 names will be in my front and center. I have 6 monitors. I will be buying probably some Nvidia. I do think it can go red to green. If Nvidia doesn't hold just say 184.50. Not that someone's like, would it be a false breakout? Would that be a problem? It wouldn't be a lot of fun. But I would think this 184.50 holds. This is one of the best stocks, obviously, in the world. It broke out in a sea of red, and it closed really well. Why would this be so predatory? Unless the really market wants to just turn into a predatory, misdirection craziness, which I don't think is going to happen. Then all of a sudden this candle gets taken back, and then all of a sudden you have a breakout failure, and it'll be wrong. Robinhood's been absolutely insane. Congratulations to you guys who are in Robinhood. Is JD still okay? It's not great. Let's just stay here for a second. So I'm gonna buy some Nvidia. I'm probably gonna add to some Apple options, and I'm gonna see if Tesla can go red to green today. The Qs are down 390. I'll show you the chart of the Qs. The Qs, I would think if they want to keep the current state of affairs, you could put this right here. This 8-day is what? This 8-day is 596.10, or that's yesterday's low. So kind of the same theme. It's the same theme. If we hold the 2-day lows, the friggin' government shutting down is not a big deal. If this can't hold, and if all those names open lower and can't find a friend, and we all need friends in life. You need friends in life. Okay. Otherwise, life is pretty damn boring. So the Qs right now are at 596.43. So this is 596.10. So we're kind of right there. So if we could hold up here, that'd be super impressive. Sometimes it'll break below and then reclaim it. You never know. I know, Ken, the car sells tomorrow. You're like my little birdie on my shoulder. I will not have the shares. I'm going to have options into the deliveries. But anyway, so we'll see if this doesn't hold. Hey, then there's a whole nother, bottom quadrant. So if you want to put this as a big channel, right? Here's the upper end. Here's the lower end. This would be super impressive. If that doesn't hold, then it could do some price discovery, and you have to just, not buy as quick and let things be figured out. Can I talk open? Stop with your open, Kenneth. You friggin', this is a meme name. This is, it was a little piece of business. You're like all like enamored with this. Okay, here it's holding the 21-day, came into the moving averages. It's below the 8-day. It was above the 8-day the entire time. So the momentum is slowing there. So if you want to buy versus that spot, fine. I feel like you have too much of this thing because you're always so, enamored with it. It's up in nickel and a sea of red. Hey, a little, a little relative strength. Congratulations to the guys who are in LAC. I just missed buying that at the close. Look at that move. You had a big gap up 2 days, came into the 8-day, held the gap. Congratulations if you bought that. Government's buying, an equity stake in here. Congratulations. Gold has just been in fuego. I don't even know what to tell you about that. Intel, Intel, I'm not in this second. My virtual trade floor is in a bunch of it still. I had 2 really good trades in Intel. One in here before the news and sold into strength, and I bought it back, sold into strength. I would be a buyer into here. What's Intel doing this morning? Intel is down 20 cents only, so not so bad. Intel has become a much better trading vehicle. What's the low from yesterday? 33.02. So use that. Maybe it goes below 33.02, comes back above from 36 to 33. Probably a decent spot to be a buyer of the dip. Oh, Target I bought yesterday. Options. I don't know. The stock has been battered and bruised, and there's some chatter out there about a PE firm looking at them, to take a stake or take them over. So I bought a little bit, but I bought options down here. This stock is very, very, very broken. Broken names could be more broken, but every now and then, hey, something interesting happens, and so I bought some options. A lot of my guys bought Costco right on the moving average. Someone's like, hey, Red Dog, could you show me a chart of Costco? I'm like, holy cow, look at this huge head and shoulders pattern. But sometimes in bull markets, it holds the neckline. And 2 days ago, it held here and gave you a little bit of follow through. Not a great chart, not a leadership chart, but just something to do. Costco gave you a Red Dog reversal, went below 935, came back up, gave you a little bit of a move. Sometimes it's just a day and a half trade. You love them and leave them, just like college. No, we didn't do that in college. I did. I didn't really have girlfriends in college, but that's when you have fun, and then you get married and you have kids, and you become loyal. But anyway, but some broken names you don't love. You don't stick around. This one happened to just be an oversold trade, so we'll see. Target's just options I have on, and that's that. Yeah, Sam Steves, Wolf, Bill Wolf. In my humble opinion, Wolf is going to be $14 to $16. Before Thanksgiving. So I'm buying Dips and Wolf, and I think it gets to there. I told you guys, remember back in the day with Dash, I told you Dash was going to be getting to 225 to 250 when it was at 144. A year and a half ago, I had no idea what Dash was. All of a sudden, my institutional friends were like, "We love it." I'm like, "Well, let me put a framework together so my active traders could trade it, because we can't just say we love it, and I can't just say, hey, it's going to 257. I have to say, how is it going to get there? How are we going to work different types of setups?" And wound up being, really good to the upside. So hopefully everybody on the 630 Club made a lot of money in Dash, because I've had it here a bunch of times. I think a lot of you guys joined Red Dog Mindset because you guys, so frazzled, you don't know how to concentrate, and having the right process, the right routine every single day, and you control your mind, then all of a sudden you could execute with confidence. Everyone looks at the same charts, right? Look at this move on the weekly above the 8-day moving average. Is that bullish or bearish? It's bullish. Look at some of these levels. Anyway, that's that. Yesterday we actually had a nice little tactical buy the dip. So CRWV, that was a nice move yesterday, right? What's it doing today? Maybe there's a dip to buy in this today. You can probably lower this. This is yesterday's low. Here's the gap. If it's going to have a lot of power, it should hold it right here. What's it doing this morning? What you want to do is you want to line up some of the semis. So you go CRWV. It's only down $1.20. That's not a lot. Nvidia is only down $1.18. That's not a lot. Tesla's down to, you're talking not a big down move. I would say in stride. So the title of my note to Redler All Access is probably going to be in stride with the government shutdown, because again, all we're doing right here is so far just taking back the markup. That hurt. I had some hedges on yesterday, and those bastards marked me up. But I always had a lot of other longs, but the hedges kind of hurt. XBI has been really good. Congratulations if you've been riding it. We'll see if it continues. I'd much rather have seen you buy the XBI here when it broke the downtrend, or all these higher lows now into a 3-day move like you just saw. It's a little trickier. 3 up days in a row. Use my day count rules. Day 1 you're buying, day 2 you could add, day 3 you're selling. So anyway, what I do think though, can continue. So we'll see. Joe Repasol, morning, Scott. You're in coin. All right. Coin has been doing well. Can't be upset, right? With crypto. It's a little choppy, but crypto's up. I would think coin, even though it's an equity, could be up a little bit, right? Just took back the moving averages. It's been sloppy. Coin's been very sloppy. I'd almost rather see everyone just being a ETHE and being IBIT and being versions of those. You could buy the underlying. UMAC, good relative strength. That's true, Joey. I have options on there. I talked to you guys about this too in the 630 Club. How many times did I say I'm buying into this consolidation, buying options? Boom, because I'm sure Don Jr. is going to get a few favors from the drone companies, and he started to see them. Anyway, that looks pretty good. I think Archer looks decent. Oh, you know what I bought yesterday, which I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. Remember this Lunar, LUNR, had a huge move from like 7 all the way up to 24. Look how tight this is here. And some of these drones / spacey type names are getting going. So I bought some of it. It could have a move. I'm just putting it out there. I didn't even do it as a power play yet. So you're getting in here at 630 Club. So T3 is going to be pissed off at me. Anyway, I love you guys. I love you. I'm just talking. This looks pretty good. But anyway, too late for Planet Labs. I don't know. I don't even know that thing. But anyway, Marvell looks pretty good in the semis. This is poking its head right up against here. It looks decent also, AMD. I bought some options in AMD yesterday. I figured if Nvidia is going to continue to have this successful breakout, people then like to see what's next, and AMD is kind of tight. So I think you could take some 165 calls if the market's going to hang in there. And anyway, listen, it's 6:50. I promised the higher ups, the 630 Club is going to be 20 minutes. That's all. 20 minutes. We talk about stocks, ideas, their narratives. We go levels. I show you what I'm doing a little bit. I give you a little taste of what Redler does all day long. If you don't join the Alpha team, shame on you. No, I'm kidding. If you trade for a living, you should be a member of the Alpha team. We hang out all day, and there's a lot more smarter people in there than me. They're there all day long trading. Power Plays tells you what to do, and You know, if you're going to do any of that, you might as well join the Red Dog mindset, or everyone does a little bit of everything. It's one big package. You know how much focus and routine and process it takes to do this for 30 years. And by the way, listen to music. Hold on. I'd rather see you do your chart work, listen to music, drink a little iced coffee, get your workout in, than obsess about all the talking heads on TV who need to fill up airspace. Even though I'm one of them and I do it like once a month. I only am once a month guy, just to get out there and see some of my friends. Anyway, good luck today. New month, new quarter. We all start at zero. Make strong decisions for a strong life. Control your inner game, and the outer game turns real easy. Good luck today, guys.